And Tobias is right. The most startling, most paradigm-shifting information isn't about the fact that, we might have Republicans in America elected this next time around. I can tell you right now, folks, like I told when Obama got elected, there's no change. There will not be a change. And let me tell you, there won't be a change until people realize exactly what Tobias mentioned, and that's this, that there are aliens, and let's just say it, that there are creatures that do not have our welfare, and they are not good. I mean by that, our welfare in mind. And they are not good, and their plans are not to include us. In fact, they're to abuse us, use us, and dispose of us at their will. I'm talking about that. A lot of people go, well, all we have to do is think good thoughts and this won't manifest. So I gave the example of, well, how come people can't see? Well, I think maybe it was in a discussion on a round table I was on with Arguso. Somebody mentioned, well, that's a good point you bring up because it's about eyeglasses. And you can go to this guy and he'll help you adjust your mindset and you'll be able to see. That's not, and what I had mentioned prior to that comment was, we do not have sovereign will over our physical destiny. And he was saying, yes, you do. No, you don't. The very comment that he made says, no, you don't. It meant that I would have to go somewhere and that they would have to change my mind. See, I don't have to have my mind changed in order for my will to say, I want my eyes to be perfect. I want to see without glasses. I don't need to go anywhere to have the will to think that way. And what I mean by total sovereignty over the physical universe is that by you just thinking it, it happens. By you just saying, I want good eyes, get rid of my eyeglasses, and just because you will it, you can lay them down, it's over. That's total sovereignty, guys. And since we don't have that, we have this conflict. We manage what we can't have sovereignty over the best we can. And in the meantime, that's completely complicated by somebody that doesn't want us to have it. And so as we seek sustainable communities, and as we seek to handle things our way, they're seeking, those that aren't from what you could call humanity, aliens, extraterrestrials, Anunnaki, Nephilim, fallen angels, have a different agenda for us. And they intend on it not including something you want. So, what I think can change the paradigm of most people, the most is any time that you're dealing with an issue, I don't care how grassroots it is, ask this one question. How does it fit in the big picture? Will it get you where you need to go in order to become independent and protected from the beast that these guys called Nephilim, Anunnaki, fallen angels, extraterrestrials, ET, alien, whatever you want to call them, have created on this planet? The beast system being that government that what you and I might call is, fascism, communism, call it whatever you want. But it's basically something that says the government has central control and a few are going to be dictating to everybody else. And the few that they have that are going to be dictating to everybody else is not coming from the people. They're aliens. Now, you might ask me all kinds of questions like, oh, well, I don't believe it. I just, well, I really, that's what, in order for me to be able to communicate that long discussion, there are many resources on the internet. But I will be personally communicating my information, my personal involvement and knowledge about this kind of thing on the John Chronicles. Not very many of you know, I helped develop through supercomputers a voice recognition system for the telephone industry. At one point in time, there was about 15 of us that were sitting in a room with people from France that had developed a special signaling system. At that point in time, this is 25 years ago too, it was called Signaling System 7. Standing right next to them was Bell Laboratory experts, and we were getting information from research about how to implement a certain system in the entire world. This system had to do with voice recognition. And right upstairs above my head at that location were Cray supercomputers that were running the diagnostics. And I had signed to me a fellow by the name of Jim. I won't give his last name. Jim was the AI software programmer. So I would tell him what I wanted, and he said, oh, all we have to do is just change the language, your question, just a little bit, and that's what you could put in these computers. Back then it was like Star Trek or any of these other kind of sci-fi movies where you literally ask it a question, you get answers back. That system, within a few months, developed what was going to be deployed and now happens to be in place to run voice recognition software on everything, including this radio program right now. I'll tell you that the Beast system and the supercomputers that run it are not in Belgium. You can call the Beast over there in Belgium and all that stuff the center if you think, but you're sorely wrong because it's in the United States. The United States is this bullseye for the New World Order. The empire is run from Washington, D.C., and they're not what you and I call human. By human, I mean those that are not extraterrestrial with bad intentions, that were born on this planet, whose DNA is being abducted, is being acquired through abductions from the aliens. Now, you might say, gosh, there's a bunch of them that are good and they're trying to help us. Yeah, in some cultures, you'd call them angels. There are alien creatures like that are good, that, are there. Yes, they're there. But by and large, they have a prime directive. Now, guess who's going to obey the non-intervening or non-intervention prime directive? Who is going to obey the rules and who is not going to obey rules? The good guys or the bad guys? That's what's in the prime directive of the good people. You have to ask for their help, and even then, you may get a no. And the other one, they do whatever they want. And you might say, well, gosh, that wouldn't be, why are they so secretive? Well, basically because they aren't all powerful. They even had troubles the first time they got here. Now, I'll tell you, in those of you that have studied, the Sumerian text and the stories of Marduk and the stories about, there was a ill wind that came from the west and it destroyed everybody. and it made everybody sick in these